Hello everyone, it is Betsy Robles and I am here once again to do another process video over a card swap. And this is a card swap. I love this little flip card. I think it's amazing. It's easy to do. Just by me giving you the measurements, you'll be able to do this. And this actually tucks in by the airplane. And I'll show you how to do that. And yeah, so stick around and let me show you how to do this. All right. All right, so what you will need to make this card is copper clay, boho blue, night of navy, smoky slate, and of course our Memento black ink. Okay, so you are going to need this for. So I did a little watercoloring here. I did not use watercolor pencil. Watercolor pencil or the watercolor paper. What I used was thick cardstock. Knowing that this was going to be flipping, I wanted this to be a little thicker than our regular card base. You can see here the difference between those two. So the bundle that I am using is Adventurous Sky. Another die that I'll be using for this is the Nested Essentials. And the one that I am using is the largest elongated square. And our banner. And the banner is the second to the smallest, from smallest to largest. If you go from large to smaller is 1, 2, 3 is the third from largest to small. And if you go from small to largest is the second one. That's the one that I used where I stamped the sentiment. And once again, if you've seen my previous video when I did the plain, these two, I use the same technique here to make it here. Except that this one didn't come out right, and what I used was the We Are Memory Keepers Crop-A-Dial corner chopper, and I used a 1 1/4 side, not the 1/2 inch, the quarter side. And of course, we are also using the DSP, that it's part of the suite. And this is some of the cardstock that you get. So this one is, these two go together. Remember, you get 60 signs, 2 of each, and it is front and back. Those two go together, just like these two go together. I think this is my favorite one, and I've used that a lot. And then the other ones that you have is these two. These two go together. These two go together. That's the front and back for that one. I love this paper, and it's just making me want to scrapbook. Okay, so these two go together. These two go together. So beautiful paper. And then let's see. I am missing one. Oh, I am missing this one because I used the other side for this one, for this card. And this one you can cut out the tags and do different things. I like the tags since we only have one tag die, and that's from the Merriest Christmas dies that has it. And then this is with that. And let me see. That's it for that one. And the name of this paper, it's called Take to the Sky 12 by 12. And it's boho blue, copper clay, mossy meadow, night of navy, and smoky slate. I love that color combination. And in this video, I used that. So in order for me to do some of the watercoloring that I did here, I just used my stamp pad still, and I already showed you the colors. And I used the water painters. And all of these come with different tips. So this one's a lot thicker, as you can see here. And then Let's see. This one is a little bit thinner, but the one that I normally use is this one. And I don't know if they have like the sizes of them, but yeah. I usually use, I think it's this one, the one that I was using. No, I can't remember, but I think it was this one. And just have a little washcloth in handy. That way you can clean your brush. And yeah, so I'm using this one. And all right, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, one more thing. I'm also using this embellishment. It's new. It's called the Basic Grade and Smoky Slate Pearls. I was going to use what came in the suite, which is the industrial trinkets. I liked it. I liked the way it looks. But where I wanted to put it at was here, and it didn't look quite right. So I decided just to use this one and put it here. So you'll see me do that in my on my card that I would demonstrate for you today. And I think it's a super easy fun fold, and I love it. Oh, and I didn't tell you, but this is a gift card holder, so you can go ahead and put a gift card in there. And there you go. It's nice. I like it. And yeah, so I'll show you how to do this. So stick around with me and you'll see. Okay, so I want to start out with our base, and it is 4 1/4 by 11. And we are going to score our card at 2 1/2 and 8. So 2 1/2 is right here. 2 1/2 is that. If you are confused in, if you don't know, or if you're not familiar with reading the ruler, on my blog over at craftinatedbetsy.com, I do have a ruler there that says how to read a ruler. And you can go ahead and get familiar with the 8s, 16s, and the quarters and the inches. All right, and then our next score line is going to be at 8. All right, so it's 2 1/2 and 8. And remember, this is a 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Okay, and we are done with this. So one thing I want to tell you is that whenever you are doing your card, I usually start with the base, with the bottom. Okay, so the longer side is the bottom. You see this side? This side is longer. And let me give you the measurement for that one. So this side, oops, a hair. Sorry about that. Okay, so if we go into our inches, that's going to be 3 inches, right? And then this, sometimes when you score, this it was perfectly, right? So whenever you have a problem with this, after you score, they're not lining up right, I usually mess with the top side. That way I can go ahead and score it. Okay, and the top side, I believe it's 2 1/2 inches. Okay, so that's your top and that's your bottom. The bottom is 3 inches, the top is 2 1/2. All right, and that's your base. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and assemble our card first, because I think it's super easy to assemble this card. I already have everything already die cut for you. I mean, already pre-cut, and it's already measured. Okay, so this is our little banner where we're gonna stamp. This is where we're gonna do our little corners, and this is in Misty Moonlight. And I'm gonna show you how everything goes. Okay, and I already had a base here, but we're not gonna use this one. Okay, so we're gonna need 2 Misty Moonlights. One that's gonna go here, and one that's gonna go on the top in the 2 1/2 by 4 1/4 side. All right, so the measurement for this Misty Moonlight for the top side, it is 2 3/8 by 4 1/8. Okay, 4 1/8 by 2 3/8. That's the top. And the bottom is going to be 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. All right. One thing I want to tell you is that if you want to die cut this die, you can die cut it here because it's going to be covered by this. So you're not going to be able to see it. And I don't have a sampling of doing that. After I did all my cards, I was like, oh, I could have done that. So if you want to save some paper, you can go ahead and do that. Die cut this out of this. All right. And this is going to be glued here. And that's going to be glued there. So our bottom side for this DSP, I'm using this one. This one is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And then the top is 2 1/4 by 4 inches. All right, so we're going to adhere those there. Okay, and then for our inside, because I'm going to put some there and some here. And this is where your gift card is going to go. So for this, we are going to use a 2-inch circle punch. And this you can find at the online store. And then you can pick whichever side you want. If you want this side, you see how it's the same paper, front and back. Okay, so you can pick whichever side you want. Okay, but keep in mind that this one is just a little bit longer. This one is 4 1/8. Yes, 4 1/8 by 2 1/8. Okay, and this one for the top is 2 1/4 by 4. So just pick whichever one you want. I went ahead and did it this way. I wanted this to be with the gift card to be for that side, and then that. There's, if you would like to put some cardstock to give it that matted look, you can, but I think it looks good as is. And then we are going to use a 4 by 5 1/4 basic white stock paper to go in here. And then this is where we're going to start our sentiment. So this is all you need, right? So let's go ahead and adhere this. And, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do our stamping first, okay? And then we'll adhere everything after. But I wanted to show you how everything goes. And then how this goes with that. And it's going to go like this, okay? So let's go ahead and get our stamping ready. All right, so I'm going to bring out my Stamparatus. I know it's retired, but it was a must-have tool. There's different platforms that they sell now, but I really like my Stamparatus. So I went ahead and die cut my pieces. What I suggest you do when you do this, make sure you like stamp it, mark it in your paper where it's at. That way when you come back with your die, after you die cut it, it's already in position. I know I showed this in one of my Facebook Live videos. So if you would like to watch that, I would also link it. But it's such an easy tool to use, especially when you're doing so many cards. And I really like this. So the reason why I have this here, it's because I like to die cut my stuff in advance. I love to do that. So we are going to need one of the little small cloud, and we are going to need 2 of the big cloud. Okay, and it's these 2. Okay, and we're not going to use this large one. I just wanted to have a template ready for me. And we are going to stamp this clouds in boho blue. And it's okay if you get it on your the largest stamp. That's fine, because it's gonna land in this. So don't worry about that. It's gonna be fine. So my boho blue is like super juicy, which it's okay. And that's what you get. And I love to use my take a pic tool, and that's how I do it. This is such a faster way for you to, you know, create a lot of cards, and you don't have to run back to your cut emboss machine and die cut all this, you know, especially if you just want to die cut it in white, and or you know, it works perfectly fine. So we're done with that. That's was one of our major stamping that we needed to do, which we got our clouds. And then next thing we are going to need is, remember how I told you that my plane, I stamped it in thick cardstock. So I used thick cardstock, and I used Memento black ink, and I used the largest plane in our, from the stamp set, which is this one. Okay, and you have 3 different ones. You have, this is the bigger one, and then it's these 2. Okay, so I used the largest one, and go ahead and ink it up on your Memento black ink. Find a spot, go ahead and stamp it. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and color, you know, grab your colors. If you like, you can go ahead and do that. I didn't do it that way. I went ahead and cut mine. I went ahead and cut it, and I did several of them, and you know, I just went ahead and die cut them in thick cardstock. Okay, and I rather do it this way instead of waiting for it to dry and then for me to be able to die cut it. So I went ahead and die cut everything, and instead of waiting for this to dry in order for me to die cut it. So it's up to you. If you want to leave it like this and then color, and then wait for it to dry and then run it through your cut emboss machine, you can. I did it the other way. I stamped it, die cut it, and then I started coloring. So it's up to you, and I'll show you how to color it in just a little bit. Okay, so we got our plane. We just need a color. What else do we need from our card? So we got our clouds, and we got our plane, and now we need a stamp on our card. And for that, I used Night of Navy. So let's go ahead and grab Night of Navy. And then I used the You Always Lift Me Up. I thought this was such an awesome sentiment for me to use whenever, especially since the way you have to lift it up. Keep in mind, I already know how I aligned this, okay? I already know how to do that. My thing is, whenever you are stamping, you can test it off to the side. Test it to see. I already know where mine is lined up, so I want that up to be in the center. So I want it to be in the center on top of that pointy thing, and then it's like that. Okay, now I see that this one didn't come out as straight. And then you see how this one I did a oops. So this one came out perfect. Okay, but it's up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and use this one because this one I already have in dimensionals. And I'm going to use that one. Another sentiment that we are going to use from for the inside of our card is using Night of Navy. I used the Happy Birthday. I was like, I don't know. I decided to, for this video, I wanted to use the Happiest Father's Day. Okay? And maybe do it down here. And what I am going to do right now, I'm completely changing the way I had this on my own. the ones that I did for the swap. So what I am going to do is use a smoky slate, grab this stamp set, which is this one. I really like this one. And grab a scratch sheet of paper and then stamp off, okay? And then what we are going to do is go ahead and, oh no, did this wrong. Stamp off, and then go ahead and grab, we're using the scratch sheet of paper, go ahead and do that. And it gives it, I want that faded look. I don't want that first generation. I want the second stamping generation on there. So I'm done with the smoky slate. And let me bring back Night of Navy. Now let me see if this one is off-centered. Okay, it looks right. So I think I want to put it right here. Happiest Father's Day. Happiest Father's Day. Put it like that right there in the corner. And of course I didn't do this for my card swaps, but just giving you a different idea to see this differently. So I believe all of our stamping is done. We don't need to do anything else. Everything else is done. Okay, so now it's time to color this. Like I said, this is such an easy card. That way, as we are assembling it, you guys can see this can be drying as we are assembling. That's the reason why I decided to do this last after all of our stamping. Okay, so we're going to use all these. Not Night of Navy. Just Smoky Slate, Boho Blue, and Copper Clay. So what I do is I do this. Okay? And then you're going to get that. Okay? And I do that for all of them. And do the same thing. I'm going to show you what to do if you don't want to do it this way, okay? And then Boho Blue is our last one. Just put 4s, and then you're going to get that. Okay, like I said, there's different ways to do this, but this is the way I did it. Okay? Let me bring all of that like this. Another thing that people like to do, because they don't like this on their ink pads, I love it. So what you can do is do this, stamp, grab some ink onto your block, and then you can grab your watercolor pencil and then just start grabbing it straight from here. You can do that, right? So let's say I'm gonna start coloring, okay? So let's go ahead and zoom in. Okay, so if you want to do it this way using the block, you can. Okay, and then what I'm doing is just going through that where those little lights are at. And I'm using Smoky Slate. Okay, just darker in those dark areas. Okay, and I'm gonna put some on my tire right here. And I'm not squeezing the bottle. I mean my watercolor. Because if you squeeze, you can make it lighter. So the more water you squeeze, the watery it gets, and it gets lighter. And yeah, so you can do that. Now, that's all I needed for Smoky Slate. Let me go ahead and clean this off. Okay. Now, let me put Smoky Slate off to the side over there. I want to start with Copper Clay now. Okay, this is Copper Clay. And what I am going to do is, let me look at my sample so I can see where did I color. Because I think I missed some colors for Smoky Slate. Let me see. Okay, so for Copper Clay, I'm not watering it. You can, but I'm not right now. I did the circle very dark, and then I skipped the little thing, and then I went a little darker. I'm going through the darkest where I see those little lines. I'm grabbing, that's where I'm doing it darker. Okay, so let me see what else needs to be darkened. And right here, I want this part to be a little dark. And then right here, I want this side to look just a little bit darker with this right here. I think I loved doing this card, but I had more fun with doing the coloring here. I feel like an artiste. So now, as you saw, I did squeeze some water. So now you see how watered down it looks. It's not as dark as it looks right here. It's lighter. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, I'm not squeezing the bottle. All I'm doing is that. Just grab the water that you put on your ink pad and just go all around like so. All right, and when it dries, it's gonna look different. I like it. So I want a little dark over here. And just keep doing this as many times as you like. I just love how for this to look just a little bit darker. I go right here, because when it dries, it's gonna look very nice. All right, so that's all for copper clay. So we definitely can close that. Now I'm gonna grab my boho blue. And I know I still need smoky slate, so let me bring smoky slate back. So this is boho blue. Once again, I'm not watering it down. I didn't squeeze anything yet. It's just that. And I am just using dark thick cardstock. Okay, and once again, dark, I'm going where all those lines are at. Where all those lines are at, that's where I'm going dark. I have not put any water in here yet, so just go a little bit. Wherever you want the darker, for it to look darker, just go ahead and do it there. And then I also wanted this side to look a little bit darker. Okay, now I'm gonna just squeeze a little bit of water, mixing it around, that way it can still look a little bluish. And just right here, be careful wherever you hit smoky slate, because you don't want mud, okay? And we're gonna go back with smoky slate in just a little bit. So just like I said, just be careful in that area, because you don't want mud. And what I mean mud is for you to get a different color, for it to look, it's not gonna look right. So let me just go ahead and put a little bit there. And the reason why I didn't use watercolor paper, it's because the thick cardstock, it's already thick as is, and I'm not using a lot of water. So you can see I squeezed it, and I'm not even doing anything else. Okay, so that's it for that. Now let's go ahead and I don't need to put blue anywhere else. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab smoky slate again. Smoky slate, grab, and what I'm gonna do is in this little sides right here, I wanna see a little grayish. And where I got this idea was from the DSP itself. The DSP gave me the idea to do it this way, and I just followed through. So I'm grabbing the legs, and I'm doing it smoky slate again, just a little bit darker right there. So, and then right here what I did was just did swooshing. Just do a little swooshing, like just go circle like that if you want. Just be careful, you don't want mud. So if you like I said, don't grab a lot of water, because if you do, you're gonna create mud. Okay, so just be careful doing that. And because by you bringing in more water, you're making it to blend in with the others, right? So you also gotta let things dry down, that way it can work. So let me grab more smoky slate and put it like right there. Okay, so I am satisfied with this. I'm gonna leave it, making sure I didn't miss anything else. And kind of want this little wheels to be a little bit darker. Okay, gonna leave it like that. Then it's gonna dry. I'm gonna put it right on the top, that way you can see that it's drying as I am gluing everything down. So all of our stamping is done. Everything else is done. All we need to do is just assemble our card, which is another fun part. Okay, so we got our clouds right there. Everything else is, you know, done. So we can go ahead and move on. All right, so let's start assembling. I'm gonna start out with, you can start out with this. Okay. And then we're gonna glue this to the bottom. Remember, it's goes to the bottom. Always make sure that your DSP is facing the correct way. Always keep that in mind. It's facing the right way. Okay, then now this we can glue using our Seal Plus. Okay, and then this is gonna go on the top. Well, gotta make sure whichever one is longer, it goes on the top, which is this one. I'm not paying attention to the direction of this DSP because I feel like it looks normal. Okay, and then now this one is where we are going to snip so that we can have for the gift card. Okay, so we use our 2-inch circle punch. Find the center. What I do, I just eyeball it. So I just do like finger length, you know. Is it good? If it is, then I punch it. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and grab my tear tape, and then you can use whichever glue you want. Adhesive, I went ahead and just used this one. And then I have this little tool that I grabbed from the Dollar Tree. I believe it's for the machines. I have the Silhouette. So go like that, and then like that, and then we are done with our tear and tape. And I just go ahead and do this with this. You can do it with your bone folder. Do that, and then this, and then last one, and then we are gonna go ahead and put this here, because this is where our gift card's gonna go. Remember, it's an inch, 1 inch So I'm looking on all the corners, making sure it like looks perfectly well, and it does. So we are done with the inside of our card. Now let's focus on the outside of our card. All right, so we have everything stamped and ready to go. So remember what I did here. Let me give you the measurement for this one. This one is 2 3/16 2 3/16 by 2 13/16. Okay, hold on. 2 3/16, yes, by 2 13/16. Okay, and then what I did, remember, I used this. It's a non-Stampin' Up! Product. I've had this for a very long time. And we are using 1/4 inch. You see what I was just doing there? So, snipping it, snipping it, snipping it. So if you have a corner punch, you can do this. I know Stampin' Up! Doesn't have it, but if you have one in your stash, you can go ahead and grab it and use that to give this the little round circle look. Maybe you can try doing it with like a circle punch, but that'll be a challenge. And you see how that looks? Look at it. It's nice. I love that little border that it gives. Okay, so versus this look. That's the second die. So I love that little inch, that little 1 inch versus like a 1/4 inch. So let me know what you think. I feel like I've done this several times and I love it so much. Okay, so this is good. I like it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add here all my stuff here. Okay, so I'm gonna start with one of the clouds, and let me go ahead and put this. I want my banner to be right on the top, and I want this to be, let me go ahead and take this out just a little more, maybe like this. So you decide how much of the cloud do you want out, and just, you know, decide how you want it, because I'm gonna put another cloud right here. Okay, I was like debating of putting it there or here, and I don't know, I kind of like it either way, but you decide. I just couldn't make up my mind, so I just went ahead and did it on the other side. So one thing is, do not put glue here because this is going to be out. Do not put any dimensionals there because it's going to be out. So let's go ahead and grab, I've been using the mini dimensionals lately, just because this is so much smaller, and I went ahead and started using this just for right now. It's not for long. I still prefer my regular size dimensionals, but I'm just using these because these are for as tiny as my sentiment and the plane is. I'm using this. Okay, and then go ahead and put it there like that, and then we're gonna put another mini dimensional right there because we're gonna put it like this, and then we are going to add glue to this side. Okay, like that, right? Cute. So then we are going to put it like right here, and then after I adhere this down here, I am going to add the other cloud over here because that's where that other cloud is going to go. Okay, so I'm gonna fill this back side with dimensionals, put dimensionals everywhere, and you're gonna see where I'm putting them at. Okay, definitely want some at the bottom right here. we're not gonna go past this line, okay? That's how I measured mine. And then one right here. And then I'm gonna cut some of this off. And then let me use my take a pick tool, and then I'm gonna put them on those that side. And let me just put this one here to keep it level. Okay, and then we take the backings off of this. Now what we are going to do is position this at the bottom. Okay, don't worry about the top yet. Don't worry about your sentiment. Just we're gonna put it right here. And then I am looking at the lines. I don't want this to be aligned with that line. It's just me, right? So go ahead and align it however you want. You want it more towards this side, you can, which I think I just might. It's like a little bit more centered. And then you can go as far as you want. You know how we have it with dimensionals back here? So that's as far as you can go. As long as this thing is at the back, it's going to hold it shut. So now you look at where this is at. Remember, do not put any glue at the bottom here. You're just focusing on the top flap. Okay, so just look at your cloud, just a little bit past the cloud. That's how we are going to measure this. So what I did was I used my CO Plus, and then I am just going to do it by where that cloud is. All right, so I ran out of that stamp and seal. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my regular and just go ahead and put that. And since we didn't put anywhere, we know it's not gonna close it shut. We're just gonna go ahead and adhere, and then this is how you open it. And then there's no glue here. Oh wait, look, my bad. There's glue right there. Okay, but look at this. And then how I usually do it is like that. Oh no. Everything definitely happens whenever you're on camera. Everything. Okay, so we did that, right? And now try to do it like that. Now grab the other cloud, the medium cloud, and then we're going to put it here. That way it looks like it's coming behind, behind the plane. Okay, just like that. And then just close it. And then we are going to embellish. I just used one. You can use, we have two different sides, as you can see. We have like the smaller one and then medium size. And yeah, so it's basic gray and smoky slate. And I'm using this one. I don't know, that one looks a little more like bluish. So that's how I did it. And I hope you enjoyed this card. I did two same layouts, right? Same layouts, but this one has the happy birthday, and then this one has the happiest Father's Day. Same design, and then it's easy to close off and on. So just keep in mind how you do it, and also tell the recipients how to open it. I know I sold a lot of these when I was doing the craft show, my craft fairs, and it was fishing, and a lot of people liked it. It was held by a fish here using that DSP paper, and a lot of people liked it. And just the fact that it was a gift card, they liked it. So make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Like this video. I love making these videos for you. I love to show you how to make different techniques, or maybe techniques that you've seen or that you know of but you have not used. But this was so much fun to create this watercolor airplane just using thick cardstock. So if you don't have the watercolor paper, thick cardstock works very well. And I got this fun fold idea from Marissa Alvarez a long time ago. She presented this, and I loved it. And I think she used a celebration paper, dainty. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, I really love this fun fold. And I wanted I really love gift cards to give, and I just loved it so much. And we are always in need for masculine cards, and this is such an awesome bundle that we have. You can even use the same DSP for the fishing that carried over, the fishing stamp set, so you can use that for this. And I already have all my cards ready. All my cards are already ready. I had to make 7, and I have my sticky card back there, and all I have to do is mail this out to my upline. That way we have it for when it's the card swap. And I already have them all ready, and I'll show you the cards that I get whenever I receive them. I have to mail these out, and so whenever I get them, I'll show them to you. So you guys hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.